Hello, this is Marc Young with xLM Solutions, and today I'm going to give an overview of the SOLIDWORKS PDM Web Services. SOLIDWORKS PDM Web Services are a way to access SOLIDWORKS PDM functionality from computers that do not have PDM installed on them. So you can access the PDM functionality from websites or web-based applications, mobile devices. They can be used to integrate with other systems like ERP, and also be used to create AI agents to build knowledge base on the data within SOLIDWORKS PDM. Also, the Dassault one-part integration makes use of the SOLIDWORKS PDM Web Services. So today I will show you how to enable the PDM Web Services in SOLIDWORKS PDM and then give an example of how to use them. Let's start the demonstration. Let's start off in the SOLIDWORKS PDM administration tool. You will see in the tree we have a web service section. In that section, you can add the server that will be the web server to run the PDM web services. In this case, it's going to be my local machine. And we can see that has already been set up here. And it lists the machine IP address and a port that the web services will run on. Once we enable the web server, we need to add a PDM database vault to it. As you can see, I have done that already. And when we do that, we need to specify a directory on that server that will store temporary files that the web services will use. So now let's see an example of this. I built the simple web page to show how web services can work. I will show you how they work through the web page, and then I will show you the code underneath it. So the first thing you need to do is log in to the PDM Vault, which will return a ticket that will be used to make all additional web service calls. So I'm going to log in here, and you got to specify a username, password, and vault name. And you can see it returned a ticket. That means I have successfully logged in, and this ticket will be used to authenticate for all additional web service calls. The first web service, or the second web service I will use, is a search web service. So if I want to search on a string for data in the database, I can type that in, use percent as the wildcard, and click search. In this case, it's going to return every item that has a number value starting with S star. And you can see it returned a lot of data. And to prove this is correct data, I will do the same search in PDM. So I will run my search from the root of my vault on number S dollar sign. In this case in PDM, I'm going to use the asterisk sign, hit run, and you will see, if we can do this side by side, similar data is returned. So let's do another web service. In this case, the next web service, I will show you the metadata for the data being returned. So in that case, I have this example down below where I can specify a file ID and a version number. So let's do that for this one, the assembly of frame and wing. So I'll put in the ID and version number, and hit run. When that web service runs, you can see now it retrieves all the metadata, such as date, description, number, etc. And if we look at the equivalent part in PDM, we can see that, yes, the same metadata exists. Now let's look at the code behind the web page. I have my web page, which in this case is a single file right here. And if I were to open it in an editor, we can see that this web page is made up of a style page. It's made up of my HTML code that you see on the screen. And then it has a JavaScript section where it calls the various web services. And in this case, I pass the web service endpoint that contains the server name and the port, and the web API I want to call. In this case, is the authentication API. This one down here is doing a search, and this one right here is bringing up the profile card data. So these are different functions that I make use of to return the various data from PDM. Again, in this case, PDM is not on the local machine. Let's see another example now. In this case, I built similar functionality, but using .NET Core framework. So when I play my code, you will see a very similar user interface, just not through the web, but through a native application. I can perform the same functionality, where I log in. In this case, I have the vault name hard-coded in this application. And you can see I get the same token information back. I'm going to do the same search on S star, and we get the same data returned as well. Finally, I'm going to bring up metadata for this part, this wire part. So I'm going to use 116 and the var variable version 5 and display the card info. And you can see again that all that card info is displayed. To look at the code, we can see the same similar code here. For example, when I click the Authenticate button, you can see the various code that's being used to authenticate to the PDM web server. It's the same functionality, just in a different syntax as the JavaScript I showed previously. And then we have other functions to do the search, and the final function that does the showing of the data card variables. Then we have some other helper functions that display it nicely in that GUI. So I hoped this demonstration showed you how web services can be used to access PDM functionality on computers that do not have SOLIDWORKS PDM on it. For more information, please reach out to me, Marc Young at xLM Solutions, per the contact information on the screen. Thank you very much.